Hey, what's going on, YouTube? Hey, we're back. Today we are going to go over some things on the Jeep. Kind of cut corners from four-wheeling and riding the Enduro to talking about the Jeep. If you guys have been following, you've seen what I started with and where I was at, and this build is continuing. So a couple things I've done since I last did a review on this thing was I upgraded the stereo, I put an amp in, put a bigger sway bar in the rear of this thing, because it's always kind of, shaking around with the lift kit on there. And then I put a Banks catback monster exhaust on. So we'll just start with the sway bar and kind of go from there. This is the old one to come out. That thing's probably only, I would say, a max of 3/4 inch in diameter, if that. And bear with me, we'll roll underneath this Jeep and I'll show you what I went to. All right, you can see that, guys. This is a Steinjagger, and it is like 1.25 inch sway bar with the upgraded bushings. They're greasable, and I have noticed a huge difference in the way this thing rides. It doesn't sway around in the back near as much. They do recommend that when you go off-road to get to disconnect the sway bars, which a lot of people do anyway. I don't go rock climbing with this thing. I'm just not at that point yet, so if I ever get to that point, then I will put disconnects back here and I shouldn't have to worry about it. So let's climb out of here and we'll go over some other things. I guess while I was underneath there, I could have went over the monster exhaust. You can kind of see it here. I went ahead and went with the black. I painted part of it. A lot of people recommended that. I am very happy with this. It is, this is a Jeep. It's the 4.0 liter. They don't have a lot of horsepower. There's not a lot you can do to gain a lot of horsepower of these things, from what I understand. But I have noticed a difference in the lower end and a little bit on fuel economy. We'll fire this thing up and show you what it sounds like. So it's definitely a lot throatier note. It's definitely a lot louder. It is inline six. It is what it is. It's not the big V8 rumble, but it does sound better to me. And like I said, you can tell a little bit of a difference. And then, like I told you last time, I put a new stereo in this thing from front to rear. This thing came with a factory subwoofer in the back, like you all know. I had to take that harness out. It was, I don't know, the way Mopar rigged this thing up to work with the factory unit, it was kind of weird. There's two plugs that go in the back of the stereo, one that had all the power connectors and one set of speakers, another one for the rear set of speakers, and somehow they looped that together. And after tracing wires down and all that, I found out that harness was just laying in there, and I just pulled it out, started over. It was really simple. But here's what I went to, and we'll try to get up in here. I went with a Clarion XC2510. It's a 5-channel amp. You see it's tucked in there nice and neat. You know, I made sure I zip tied everything where it needed to be. And you know, this thing really did work out real well. It made a huge improvement with this system, you know, because this thing, like I said, is a 5-channel amp. So I've got, I think it's only like 50 watts to 4 channels, and I think it was 200 or 300 watts to the sub. And that is just what this Jeep needed. It sounds good with the Kenwood stereo and the kicker speakers, and it was just a suited match. As you all know, there is not a lot of room in these Jeeps. You're really cramped for space. So this Clarion amp was a marine grade amp, which was nice, so I didn't have to worry about, you know, getting some water on or anything like that. It was a compact amp, so it was a lot smaller than the rest of them, because you can't stick them underneath the seat. You could have went under the rear seat if you never planned on taking that thing out, but you know, if you would have flipped it up to have a little cargo space for something, it would have been right in your way. So this thing, it tucked perfect up there on the firewall. It was close to the stereo, and it really worked. But I'm going to show you, more about the stereo. I know the last video I did, I apologize for the darkness. You know, I'm still kind of learning on videoing, so we'll kind of go back over this. But this was a Kenwood unit, and I put the little box on there from Quadratech. And what it allows you to do is lock this thing up. So, you know, it's got this cover, and it locks down. Put the key in it, so then that way nobody knows really what you got. And I guarantee you, they would have to rip this dash apart to get to it. So, also, you can kind of see better now. These were the light switches I was telling you about, that I got off of eBay. And, you know, they're listed as, you know, the KC highlights is what I got. They had all kinds of different ones. They match almost perfect with the factory, just a little bit different. And work, I can't even talk today, guys. Work really well. And then another feature I just got through putting on here is this ram mount. From previous videos, I'd bought this X-Grip mount for my bike. So I actually have a knob for the Enduro and the 4-wheeler. And then now I just went and bought this suction cup base, and now I can leave this in the Jeep. And now I've got a phone mount for everything I've got. You know, it's just a matter of twisting the knob and pulling the thing off and going to another mount. I don't know if you can see the one back here on the wheeler or not. Yeah, there you go. So see, same deal. They're just a 1-inch ball mount. So I've got this one on the 4-wheeler, got the other one on the Enduro, and now I got one on the Jeep. And I actually, when I bought the suction cup mount, I got it set up for a GoPro mount. So now I've got a ball that'll hook on all those for my GoPro. So that works out really nice too. There again, guys, this was just kind of a quick overview of, you know, what I've done to the Jeep so far. And really, I'm really getting down to the end of this. The next thing I've got to do is I've got to re-gear this thing. 4-liter, 307 gears, 33-inch tires. It stinks on the highway. You know, it doesn't have any guts, but it's still fun. I can, you know, don't get me wrong, I don't want to scare anybody from buying a Jeep and doing this. If you're just driving, man, it'll go. I mean, you're just not going to put your foot into the throttle and go flying around a car on the highway. You better look at it for a while, make sure you got a lot of room. But it's a Jeep. They absolutely suck in the wind. I took this thing a car wash earlier today, went out on the highway to dry it off. We're gusting about 40-mile-an-hour winds today, and I was all over the highway. So, because these things are just like a big sail. But anyway, guys, we'll end it from here, and I'll continue to keep you updated. Like I've always said, if you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment bar, and I will answer them to the best of my ability. So if you like the channel, give me the big thumbs up and subscribe, and you guys have a blessed day.